What is good, YouTube, man? Today I'm back with you guys, with the nation, for another video, man. And shout out to Icy Nate, for he is the creator of today's thumbnail. And we got some stuff to talk about, right? I was on a live show last night with you guys, and we thought we had some some crazy good news, right? I mean, last week has been pretty good. It went well for us. We had a very, very, very good draft last week, regardless of what the media thinks or regardless of what the media has to say. We filled every single need, right? I feel like the only somewhat decent pick was Alex Leatherwood. That's the only grade that I would give below a B, right? I'd give that grade a C, but regardless of what the media thinks, we all know as a fan base, we are the ones who end up watching this team week in and week out. We watch their training camp, we watch their mini camp, we see what the coaches do. We know our team more than the media, right? So regardless of what they say, we had a great draft. And last night on the live show, for those of you guys who were with me, we thought we had some crazy good breaking news. And apparently some reporters kind of jumped the gun on a specific signing, and he goes by the name of Casey Hayward. So I believe last night, maybe Casey Hayward was in our facility, or maybe he was just in very good, extensive talks with him, his agent, and the Raiders, right? So apparently they were very close on closing in on a deal last night, and I guess a reporter from closely inside of the Raider Nation, maybe he was inside the building, jumped the gun and said that the Raiders were signing Casey Hayward, right? And that could still be a possibility. That probably will end up happening, but as the media blew up about it, as it blew up into a storm, because we just had a very good draft, and then we were looking at this and we were like, wow, well, this is a very, very good addition to our secondary, right? Our secondary is very young, and Mike Mayock said that, this would be a great addition as a veteran presence in our locker room, right? So we were kind of all ecstatic for like 5 minutes, and then, as for those of you guys who are on my live show, I didn't really want to go out and say that we signed him. I was excited, don't get me wrong. I was very, very happy. I was extremely happy, but I kind of said it, I was like, this is a decently reliable source, but I want to see it from someone maybe like a guy Vic Tafur, Ian Rappaport, one of those guys, right? At the end of the day, those guys are the more notable, credible sources. And then about 15 minutes later, we get the news that, in fact, the Raiders have not signed Casey Hayward, but the deal is that they were very, very close in on a deal, and it can either happen that night or today, right? And here we are today. It's about 5 p.m. my time, and Casey Hayward is yet to sign, right? And in that same report, he goes on to say that the Raiders will maybe put this to a hold until we see what veteran cornerback Richard Sherman does with his decision, right? So Richard Sherman had said that his decision was probably going to be based off what teams do in the draft, right? And we've seen many teams this year add a good corner, right? There was a very decent cornerback class this year, and we've seen a couple of teams add a good veteran presence at corner, or they added a very, very good young talented cornerback. And I just wanted to talk about both of these guys, right? Will it be Casey Hayward? Will it be Richard Sherman? So let me talk about that a bit. So Richard Sherman, we all want him because of his knowledge, his veteran presence, his Super Bowl resume. He's a winner, right? He's a winner. He's done it all in this league, right? And we got all pumped up as a nation seeing him and John Gruden pick at each other's brains and talk about the great sport that we all love in football, right? And hearing those two talk, it got us all excited. We all wanted him to sign that day if he could, right? And he would be a very, very good mentor to all of our young DBs. We have a very young defensive back room with Amik Robertson, Nate Hobbs, Isaiah Johnson still young, Rasul Douglas is still young, Damon Arnett, first-round rookie last year, Trayvon Mullen is only a 2-year player. He would be a very good piece into this defense, right? And we were all thinking, and he knows this system, all this kinds of stuff, right? But then, once I remembered that Casey Hayward was on the market, I began to think a bit. Richard Sherman hasn't played in this system in a while. The system has evolved a bit. I think he might have been with Ron Miles for a season. I could be really wrong on that. I don't think he's ever played with a guy like Richard Smith. Obviously, he's never been with Rod Marinelli. Rod Marinelli was with the Cowboys. And as I was thinking about it, Richard Sherman's coming off a pretty hard injury, or he came off of a pretty hard injury the year before. He only appeared in 5 games last year, and let's be honest, it wasn't the best season for him, right? I believe he still had he had 1 interception with only 1 pass defended last year in 5 games. Obviously, 1 interception in 5 games is actually pretty decent. A pass deflection isn't bad as well, but he only appeared in 5 games, and we know that for us, John Gruden preaches best ability is availability. And at the end of the day, Casey Hayward wasn't at his full health last year, but he still played 14 games. And the 5, 6, 7 years before that, he played all 16 games, right? Whether it was with the Packers or whether it was with the Los Angeles or San Diego Chargers, right? Casey Hayward is a bit younger. He's a bit more versatile than a guy like Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman would only come in, and yes, he would be able to teach and coach all of our young guys up, but he would only play outside corner, right? Now, if you think about it, Casey Hayward has been in this specific system that hasn't evolved. It's evolved since Richard Sherman's been there. So Casey Hayward has been in this exact system for roughly 5 years, right? And it hasn't changed. And when it has, he's been there for those changes. So if Casey Hayward was to be a Raider, he would actually know the ins and outs entirely of this defense. And he'd actually be able to teach our guys a bit better, because when he's there, he knows what's changed in this defense, right? He's a bit younger. He's more versatile. He has the versatility to play free safety as well as outside corner. Now, like I said, 14 games, and then the last 6 years before that, he was appearing in 16 games each season. Last year it was his down year, let's be honest. In 2020, he only had 1 interception, 8 pass deflections, and 41 tackles. He had less tackles the year before in 2019, and in 2019, he was graded one of the highest cornerbacks in the NFL. And so was Richard Sherman. But I don't really like to talk about PFF and this and that, but if we look at it, the past couple years, we've seen what kinds of cornerbacks Gus Bradley likes, and if we were to be honest with ourselves, Richard Sherman fits that mold a bit more, but Casey Hayward has made his money. He's done his due diligence in this defense at his height and stature, so Richard Sherman, he's weighing in at or not weighing in, but he's 6'3", we all know that. 4.5 speed, weight 195, right? If we were to compare that to 5'11", Casey Hayward 192, also the 4.5 speed. In my opinion, if I were to choose one, I would go with Casey Hayward. I would go with Casey Hayward because, he's been in the system exactly. Like he was in the system last year, the year before that, the 4 years before that, right? So in my opinion, if it was up to me, I would rather Casey Hayward. He's excelled in this defense, much has Richard Sherman, but Richard Sherman hasn't been in this defense in we don't know how long, And yes, when he went to San Francisco the first year, they ran a extensive, kind of different defense, but at the same time it was very, very similar because Robert Saleh, he really tried to match that. But last year with Casey Hayward on a down year, he was targeted a lot. He was targeted a lot. He had 75 targets, only allowed 36 receptions, right? So that's not that bad. He allowed less than 50% of completions when targeted, but only had a PFF grade of around 59.5. And yeah, like I said, I don't really like using PFF grades, but that's our only really big grading system at this point. But what I really like about him is that what's tough on grading him is that since he's a versatile player, they're giving him an overall PFF grade on free safety and corner, right? As for Richard Sherman, last year only appeared in 5 games, was targeted 14 times. That's a lot. And in just 5 games, he was basically targeted roughly 3 times per game. And he allowed 8 receptions and only 14 targets. He had an interception, but he was only playing outside corner, and he allowed 8 receptions on 14 targets. Whereas Casey Hayward allowed, let's say, 40%. That is over 50%. From Richard Sherman, it's over 50%. And this is why PFF is kind of crazy, because he played in less games, allowed more receptions on average, but had a higher PFF grade than Casey Hayward. Now, this is why I don't really like the grading system, is because, you know, you look at these two and you can say one had a 59, the other one had a 67. But one plays free safety and corner and has been in this system specifically last year and years before, so he can help our defense more, right? Richard Sherman, you know, Super Bowl pedigree, all that kind of stuff, great. But in my opinion, Ron Miles, you know, he knows Casey Hayward. And we need that. We need that, you know. And if I were to have the option, you know, I would go with Casey Hayward, a bit younger, not more proven, but he's been in this system exactly, and I kind of want that, right? If we're going after guys that have been in a similar system, I'd rather it be extremely recent. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, Raider Nation. I don't know. If we can get one of these guys, I would love it. That would be a great way to top off this off season. Would you guys want Casey Hayward? Would you guys want Richard Sherman? Let me know in the comment section down below, man, and let me know what your thoughts on the video was. Sorry for the lights flickering in the background, man. It is what it is. We're trying to get that sorted out. But like, comment, and subscribe if you can, Raider Nation. And I'm out. Peace.